So watching this video will help you understand how much money you should put on each position in your stock portfolio. How to think around this question. When is a position large enough? When do I need to increase it more? There's no exact answer because every answer is individual. And in this video, we will go over the framework. One framework on how to think. I will use two examples. One saving for a specific goal and one dividend example. So by doing this, we will have a growth portfolio example and a dividend portfolio example so that we catch a lot of different types of investors. So I came onto this topic after a discussion here with the superstar editor of the channel, asking a bit regarding positions, and it got me thinking. So let's start by using person N in this case to illustrate an example on when, how you know if your position is large enough or not. So person N in this case is closer to 40 than to 30. He has visited Bali many times, works in an office in cold Stockholm, and really wants to enjoy the later half of his life here in warm Bali, where he surfs, enjoys a lifestyle, with being active, eating fresh fruits, that type of thing that some people enjoy. And he has been to Bali so many times that he is certain that he wants to live there, and he wants to hedge his cost of living by actually buying a property there rather than renting, because he thinks that more and more people will find Bali to be awesome and the cost of living, rent in this case, is likely to increase. And he does not want to risk being priced out of Bali in his senior years. So that's why person N really wants a property in Bali. So this is his investing goal. This is his why. Now that we understand why person N invests, we can use that to help us size positions so that we get a good mix of potential risk to reward. So person N puts 300,000 Swedish krona, that's roughly 30k American dollars into Reddit stock. Now, if Reddit 10x's, will this afford him a property in Bali? And in this case, the answer is yes. Yes, it will. So person N can move on to another position, build up another bet in a company where valuation looks nice, growth prospects are there, and that way increase the chances to get to that goal. This is one way of doing it. Here on Bullnova, we've seen 2 10-baggers, we've seen Palantir, we've seen Porch Group, and those growth positions indeed helped me reach a freedom goal that I've had for a long time with the 4% rule. So that's one way that I've also used growth positions. So this is one way that you can help motivate yourself. It can be extremely hard. I've done this myself. Bought into, for example, Porch Group at $1.02 and then seeing it crash down to 50 cents. So it more than halved at one time. This is years ago, but this happens on the investment journey. And while seeing this, still continued to put more money into it until I reached a position where, all right, if this stock 10x's, then it can change my life. And then I don't need to add any more into that position. So that's one way of sizing your position. It's not the business school optimized way of doing it with modern portfolio theory and doing risk balancing of the portfolio, but the real world is more messy. We are emotional creatures, and it can be difficult to just coldly continue a strategy, especially if you're not clear on your why. So let's share another why that a dividend investor perhaps could use. So in the portfolio where I take, a dividend portfolio from $0 to $100,000 as quickly as I can, just to see how quick I can do it if I had to do it all over again, I bought a lot of MPW, Medical Properties Trust. After they slashed dividend, started at $3, continued to buy at $4, bought at the highest $5 something, built it up to 10,000 shares. Now we've seen a small dividend increase from 8 cents to 9 cents here most recently, likely to see a dividend increase soon again, this time to $10. And what difference does this make? Well, at $10, this is at 10 cents a share. This would cover my rent every third month. So if I rent out a room in the place in Dublin that I have, then I pay roughly $1,000 in rent every month, and well, with the dividend from MPW, that would cover my rent every third month. So that was a why, a goal that I put out there for myself. You can do it, I want it to cover my phone bill every month, or perhaps if you're younger, you can say, I want to invest in this growth stock, and if it 10x's, I can afford a Lamborghini or something like this. Only you know the answer to why you invest, and then you can use this framework. If the stock 10x's, can I get there? Or if they increase dividend to this amount, or I accumulate this amount of shares, can I cover my rent with dividend? Those are some of the tools you can use if you're trying to size a position, and then you can spread the risk by doing more bets. For example, I've done quite a few bets of sizable position. Palantir was not the only one, Porch Group was not the only one. I also had a sizable bet in a Swedish property company called Oscar Properties. Very, very risky, where I calculated for 100xing. If they would 100x, what would I do with the money then? And in that case, they went bankrupt. So goes to zero. And if you have it spread out a bit more, well, some of them might 10x, some of them might go bankrupt. But the companies with extreme outperformance are the ones who carry the entire index, and they certainly can carry your portfolio as well. It's all about finding those gems. It's never a certainty, and that's why building out more positions makes sense. But we also need to size those positions to a point where a 10x would actually make a difference in your life. It's like I say, if I had put $1,000 into Palantir, it 10x's. Okay, $10,000. That's not going to make a huge difference. Perhaps it would for some, but if you want to buy back your freedom in the West, then it certainly won't make a difference. That's not even a year of rent right there in the West. So sizing matters, and sizing, in my opinion, should be done based on your goals. All right, that's been it for this video, talking a bit about how big you should make a position in a single stock. Hopefully this framework helps you think around your own portfolio and just make it clear and make it purposeful for you as a person, because you invest to support your lifestyle, hopefully, Nothing else. Otherwise, we're just like, you know, the leaf in the wind in the Forrest Gump movie, just blowing around wherever fate takes us and not having anything to say about it ourselves. Anyways, that's been it for this video. And as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.